Hey guys, I got my stock Sega Genesis out here with an EverDrive in it because I want to show you guys something really cool. This is Wolfenstein 3D for the Sega Genesis. It's recently been ported to the Sega Genesis. This is just some guy that decided to port Wolfenstein 3D to the Sega Genesis. And I was really impressed, so I wanted to show you guys this and share this with you. I will, of course, have the link to the ROM in the description of the video, so if you want to check this out for yourselves, it will work in Fusion emulator. It should work in most emulators, and as you can see, it should work on most flash cards if you want to play it on a real Sega Genesis. So yeah, let's see. First of all, I was impressed with the fact it's got all the episodes on there. But I like to keep it simple, so we'll just go with episode 1. Yeah, my initial impression was I was very impressed. I seen an earlier beta version of this where it didn't have any enemies and the graphics weren't quite as good. And basically the guy that made this, as he worked on it more and more, he constantly released updated versions. Eventually adding music and eventually adding enemies. This one is basically complete. I can't see really anything wrong with it. I mean, maybe he plans on tweaking it a little bit more, but but yeah, as you can see, it runs pretty good. It runs at about 15 frames per second. The sound... It's gonna turn the volume up. Oh, fuck. Why do I do that every time on this TV? Meant to turn the volume up and I accidentally hit channel. As I was saying, the music and the sound effects are pretty much bang on to the DOS version. And yeah, I like the way the controls are set up. A is shoot. A is shoot, B opens doors, no, sorry, C opens doors, B runs, and C also does strifes. So that works pretty good. I've always wondered why Wolfenstein 3D wasn't released on the Sega Genesis. It was released on the Super Nintendo. And, I've seen games like Battle Frenzy or Bloodsport, even the Duke Nukem 3D port on the Mega Drive. And I've always figured the Sega Genesis probably could have ran, Wolfenstein 3D pretty well. And obviously, as we can see here, it can. So it runs pretty good. I'm not sure if it runs any better than the Super Nintendo version. I think it is a slightly higher resolution, though, to be honest. The Super Nintendo version is very low resolution. It's a much lower resolution than even the DOS version. This, I mean, from what I can tell just by looking, I would say it's probably similar to the DOS version. But yeah, I think it's safe to say it's running at a slightly higher resolution than the Super Nintendo version. I don't remember how smoothly the Super Nintendo version ran. I want to say it probably also ran at about 15 frames per second, or about the same as this. So, that's the beginning of the level. So, yeah, this is running just as smooth as the Super Nintendo version, I would say, at a slightly higher resolution. And other than that, like I said, he got the sound effects and the music and everything pretty much bang on. Obviously, if you've played the DOS version. But yeah, I'm not exactly trying perfectly hard here. I just wanted to show this to you. Like I said, I was pretty impressed with it. It's definitely as good as the Super Nintendo version. If anything, I'm dead. Like I said, if anything, it's probably running at a slightly higher resolution. Oh, I see. Never mind. Well, as I was saying about having all these episodes, it looks like you can't actually click on any of them. Yeah, it looks like only episode 1 works. I'm sure that's no limitation. This is a very small ROM file from what I remember. Actually, let me go double check. From what I remember, it was a small ROM file. It was not a big game by any means. Yeah, it's 1 megabit. Or I guess, is that 1 megabyte? Yeah, it's probably 1 megabyte, so that's 8 megabit. So it's an 8 megabit ROM. So yeah, it's definitely not a big ROM. There's no reason they couldn't fit all the levels on there. But I mean, I guess it is a demo. It is based off the Wolfenstein demo. Probably because those levels were, you know, free or whatever you want to call them. And to put the other episodes in there might have been infringement of some kind. So it's probably just based on the original DOS demo. But yeah, nonetheless, that is pretty cool. Definitely check that one out if you can.